Don't do it, Amy. It never goes well. You've been burned too many times. You've always been disappointed, and you know better. These are the phrases that rang through my ears as I contemplated joining the Quiltcon Mini Quilt Swap. So why in the world would I ignore my past experience and join the swap anyway? And did the past predict the future? Hi, I'm Amy and I make things. And today I'm making a note to keep an open mind and welcome new experiences. And boy, am I glad that I did. Come on, let's talk about the Quiltcon Mini Quilt Swap. Hi, I am working on my Modern Quilt Guild Quiltcon Mini Swap. I signed up, I thought, oh, I can do it. And I planned it in my head, but you know, it doesn't get done if it stays up here. So today I am working on it, and it involves applique, rainbows, and I am using the, I learned it from Eleanor Burns, but Lori Holt uses it as well. Eleanor Burns uses a fusible interfacing applique technique. Lori Holt, oh, there's thread everywhere. Lori Holt uses just a regular non-fusible interfacing for this applique technique. And I am using a non-fusible, I think it's actually pattern tracing paper. That's what I had. I've used the Lori Holt product in the past. But, you know, this I have a whole bolt of, so that is what I'm using, and it's working just fine, and I'll show you how I do it. You sew it right sides together and then cut a hole in the back and flip it so that all your edges turn under. And I don't have a problem doing needle turn applique. I really enjoy it, but I need to go fast, and this is fast, and it makes it very portable because I can glue baste it down to the backing and do the applique on the go. Speed is the name of the game right now. So that's what I'm doing. I started with blue to test it. I used my AccuQuilt to cut all of my little circles instead of tracing and doing that. For several years now, Quiltcon has hosted a mini quilt swap as a vehicle for getting people together and encouraging participation and community and making new friends and new connections. And it always looked like a great deal of fun. I've seen the results, I've seen the projects. So why would I hesitate even a minute to join such an event? Well, let me tell you a little story about my history with creative swaps. And it's not good. I've participated in maybe a dozen or so creative swaps over the years, from paper crafts to spinning and knitting, quilting and sewing, lots of different genres, online, in-person, groups I know, groups I did, many, you get it. And every single time I have gotten burned, but save one time. I have gone above and beyond. I have made my best effort. I have really researched what my swap partner liked and preferred and wanted. And I've gone, you know, like I say, above and beyond. I've done more and I have put in my best work. And every time in return, be it an exchange swap or a round robin type swap, every single time I have gotten lackluster items in return. So when I got the notice for the Modern Quilt Guild mini swap at Quiltcon, even though I had hoped to be there, it was an easy pass. It was like, no, girl, you've been there. No, we're not going back, right? So I mentioned the swap to Casey with all of my very sensible reasons for not joining and not participating, right? Put on my big girl pants. Oh no, this is a smart decision. And he told me I was being ridiculous. Yeah. He said it is ridiculous to risk missing out on an amazing experience because of fear. And as usual, but don't tell him, he was right. He was right. and I got to work researching and planning my project and making it. I cut all of my little circles out of my interfacing and out of my fabric, and what I'll do is I will put them together like this, and I will put one pin in there. Watch, look, I'll do it, I promise. I know, Amy, the queen of no pins, but it helps. And then I will just stitch like 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around in a closed circle. I've got essentially right sides together. This doesn't have a right side, but, and then you cut an X in it, flip it, smooth out your seams, press the dickens out of it, and you're good to go. So I'm going to do that to all of these. I have a tiny stitch length set, like just over 1.5, because when you're working on this tight curve and in a small space, the smaller stitches are smoother. So what I do is I start off the edge and I put my needle down. All right, and I'm just going to use my hand. Let's see if I can get you a better angle. Put my needle down. I'm using a very small stitch length, and I'm just going to, I've got a little mark here on my tape that I'm just slowly turning a continuous circle. And I go kind of slow so that I don't get carried away with myself. If it starts to bunch up, lift up that presser foot and release a little pressure. My goal here is not perfection, it's just a nice smooth circle. My fabric bunched up right there, so I'm just going to push it down, smooth it out. These things happen. It caught the edge of my foot, so and just sew right off the edge. Put my thread, and here we go. All right, so now take my pin out, put it in the pin cushion, don't leave it around. Let me get these threads out of your way. Now I have a closed circle. So now what I do is I pull my little pieces apart, and I'm going to snip like an X or ish right here. And then and there's no need to trim. This is a smooth enough circle and a wide enough arc that I don't need to like grade my seam or anything. Also, I used about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, so it's just going to turn right inside. And you just turn it right side up. Tedious work here. Tedious work. Turn it right sides. Smooth it a little with your fingers. And then I take this, I have my hair marker, and I just put it inside on the fabric side and smooth around the edge a little bit. You know, I usually probably go in a circle all the way around a couple of times just to get that nice and flat. Then I flatten out my little interfacing bits. Get rid of the thread, and there we go. Nice little circle. And when I press it and steam it, it'll come out nice and smooth. And then as I'm appliquing it down, if there are any bits that are tucked in, I can pull them out a little bit with the needle. But that's it. Now I'm just going to do that this many times. And that's one of my speed techniques I've talked about. I will batch tasks. I will sew them all. I turned this one so you guys could see. But I will sew them all, and then I will clip and turn them all, and then I will press them all, and so on and so on. You get it. But that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, that was actually really fun. So now I will cut them and get them all to this state and pressed, and on to the next step. Okay, I have my swap, my Modern Quilt Guild Quiltcon Mini Quilt, my Quiltcon Mini Quilt Swap, all laid out here in a way to start. And I am going to use this, so the gray crossweave and a variety of black prints as the background blocks for my little circles, applique circles, with the exception of this row, in which I'm leaving my rainbow there, and it will be a 3.5-inch square with a 2-ish inch circumscribed applique circle in the center. And then I'll do some hand quilting through and around, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to make a checkerboard out of these backgrounds. I'm going to go cut that fabric now and lay it out and see how it all looks. Then it was time to actually meet up and exchange our mini quilts. And the energy in the room was so exciting. Hey, sweetie. I mean, it was so... well, it was loud, and there were a lot of people in that small room, and it was distracting. So distracting that I don't even have a picture of Shelli and I together with our swap quilts. So I met Shelli. We exchanged our swap pieces, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and I love the quilt that Shelli made for me. It is all the things I love. It is polka dots, it is rainbows, it is red and white, it is circles, and it is pieces of her too, with this vintage trim from the 70s, this rickrack stitched down. Shelli sells vintage patterns and trims and sewing items online. I will link her below. It's just perfect. And I've already cleared a very special place for it right here in my studio so that I can stitch my little rings on and hang it up and see it every day. And Shelli loved what I made for her as well.
I had a fabulous time at Quiltcon, and it was so nice to meet you. I just wanted you to know that the quilt that you made me is right there in the background in its place of honor in my office at work. So just so you know, I appreciate you and everything that you've done. I've been watching your videos. I love them, and just know that you are special and the world is a better place because you are in it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Am I glad I played along? A resounding yes. And was Casey right? Also yes. also yes. And honestly, that's the best part. That is the absolute best part. Not only did I get to make something lovely and receive something lovely in return, which is ostensibly the point, the bigger and better outcome is I made a new, really good friend. And that was totally worth any risk. Shelli and I are already planning to get together and do some quilty adventuring this fall, and I'll let you know more about that later as I have details. Thank you, Modern Quilt Guild, for hosting such an incredible exchange. Thank you, Casey, for encouraging me to play along. Thank you, Shelli, for being awesome in absolutely every way possible. And, I hope I don't forget to keep myself open for new experiences and new learning opportunities and new joys. And I hope you never forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.